Welcome, Aries. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your full moon in Aries reading. The full moon is a week away on the west coast of the U.S. It occurs in the very early mornings of the 29th. So it's probably occurring on the 28th in a lot of the Western world. So I'm going to do an astrological reading, a zodiac reading. I've laid out the 4 axes of the horoscope. I'll clarify with the intuitive night goddess tarot, and I'll finish off with a couple of oracle cards. I will develop this into an extended reading where I will be drawing new cards but not reshuffling, as I've already shuffled the cards. If you enjoy this reading, if you find it useful, please please share this video with others who may enjoy it, and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. Thank you so much. Let's get your overall energy, Aries, for this full moon cycle, the double card. This is about ending a toxic cycle in your life. And what is most memorable or most salient about ending the cycle is that it is after a long process of identifying the way in which you have been the primary restriction or limitation in your life. And this has possibly occurred because you have made consistent choices to conform or pursue the expectations of others. This has been assuming responsibilities and obligations that you believed were yours, that you quite possibly were told were yours, but in fact are not. This may be you being a provider or caretaker for others who are more than capable of providing for themselves, or that do not reciprocate the kind of attention, nurturance, and resourcefulness, supply, support that you offer to them. So this is an example of the kind of role, responsibilities, obligations that you are releasing. And because this is such a powerful shift in your life, you're taking up and prioritizing your own expectations, desires, and goals. This may be felt as an intense physical shift in your environment, one where you're feeling a sense of heaviness, obligation, hard work, in order to step into full responsibility for the decisions, the actions, the behaviors of your own experience. In the 10th house, we have the Judgment card. And the Judgment card is really beautiful. That's not a chuckle. It's more of a sense of your heightened awareness, your consciousness, the elevation of your awareness of your purpose, why you've come into the world. And there may be a sense that now that your own destiny has been forestalled by your attending to the needs of others. In many ways, it has been a way for you to stay small, play small, as you have supported others to find their happiness, their success, their wholeness in a way that you have deprived yourself. Understanding that this has been the result of a lack of awareness, a lack of ability to own your own power, to step into your own power fully and take the responsibility for what your mission is, why you came here. Now being aware that your destiny has been calling to you throughout your life, and only you know what that is, what those natural gifts, what those talents, what those characteristics or energies that the world is waiting for you has elevated. You now see an opportunity, perhaps particularly in your community, in your collective, in your profession, through your creative expression, which absolutely attends to the work that we do in the world, and whatever work that is as we define it, has an opportunity to do over, to be renewed, to be refreshed, to be redeemed. In the first house, we have the Moon card. And the Moon card is this sense of deeper connection to the invisible spheres of your life, other levels of consciousness, particularly your unconscious, the way in which your allies are supporting you to be connected with what it is you fully are prepared to attend to in terms of what the world needs, what your community needs, what individuals need, what strengths and characters are built upon your talents, your self-knowledge. Those that have supported you, that do support you, may come from the ancestral realms. This can be relatives, past or living. This can even be cultural or historical figures that you feel are connected to your purpose, that particularly inspire you, whose words, whose actions have uplifted you at critical times. So this is a time when you can be attending to your unconscious energies, allowing those aids to assist you. And as I've often said, I find dreams to be a potent way in which we can communicate to our allies, our past ancestors, and that we can actually track our desires and our ability to fulfill them by journaling, by tracking your dreams, by meditating, and of course prayer. Whatever your spiritual practice is, this is a time of deep connection. The veil is dropped for you, particularly with the full moon culminating in your house of attention, perspective, point of view. In the fourth house, temperance. This is this deep sense of balancing and healing that you have patiently nurtured in your home, in your family. This can be specifically your family of origin, your history, balancing out the resources that you are bringing into this lifetime and the opportunities that are available. You have been patiently working with this energy, this knowledge of your personal history, your cultural heritage perhaps, and you have been balancing that in terms of the efforts, the direction you want to move in your personal life. This is what anchors you in the world, what keeps you grounded, your domestic environment. So there is some powerful healing energy through your family, through your home, that you have been cultivating for a long time. In the seventh house, the house of your significant others, the Eight of Swords indicates to me an almost overwhelming amount of information that you are gathering at this time and that you have been accumulating over a long period. These changes don't happen overnight. You've been building towards this awareness, this consciousness for many years, perhaps decades, depending on where you are in your life. But this area where you are able to value and strategize, inspire and motivate your relationships. You are overwhelmed with ideas, with history, with strategies, with a sense of anxiety. As my sense is, you release the sense of obligation to others and you refashion that in order to move more concretely towards that self-expression, prioritizing your own desires, your own mission, elevating the work that you are here to do. And this can cause you a sense and a fear of that takes you out of the present moment, out of your gifts, and creates a lot of anxiety for you, a lot of worry about individual concerns, responsibilities, and obligations that you are cutting away from your life. You're cutting out of your relationships without necessarily cutting those relationships out of your life. I'm going to clarify the moon in the first house with the Eight of Cups in the second house and the Nymph or the Page of Cups in the third house. This is really emphasizing your desire to move away from the familiar, to move away from the obligations and responsibilities of your relationships towards this greater challenge, this challenge that you are now understanding and accepting is that perhaps you have been delaying yourself, you have been playing small, but at the same time, ironically, making these changes in your relationships, even in your values, shifting, aligning your values differently to support this change, this awareness, this work that you're finding yourself drawn and dedicated to do. You are opening up and willingly allowing yourself to return to a state of the pleasure, the joy in your imagination, your talents, your creativity. Your heart is opening in a new way, in a way that is casting off your parental responsibilities, whether these responsibilities and obligations are to peers, to relationships, to organizations, to rules or conventions. There's a childlike innocence. There's a place of joy and pleasure, a place of play in your creative gifts that is now emerging, and that in many ways you may not have experienced as a child, depending on your conditioning or family situation. The Temperance in the fourth house is clarified by the Ten of Pentacles and the Star. Indeed, this is interesting because this sense of responsibility is actually shifting to this vision you have, this vision, this understanding of your community as a whole healing vessel is extending this sense of responsibility into a sense of legacy. You already understand, despite whatever roles you may have had to assume in what may be now seen by you as unhealthy ways that perhaps stunted your earlier experience as a child or in your formative years. You're also understanding that you've benefited from your family, your ancestry. You may have financially benefited in ways that have helped you to have much greater access to abundance than your forebears did. But now you have the opportunity through this greater awareness, the sense of your mission, that you are now able to contribute to this legacy, this philanthropy, this way of giving back to your community, however you understand it. The seventh house, the Eight of Swords, is clarified by the Ace of Wands in the eighth house and the Nymph for the Page of Pentacles in the ninth house. The pages are standing out to me as you are understanding the way that you are sharing resources with others is beginning anew. You're investing in a new way. You're inspired in a new way. And this is opening you up to learning how to do things differently. This learning, this open to new ways of building, new ways of creating, is actually impacting your spiritual practice, your understanding of where you belong in the world, maybe shifting and exposing you, opening you up to entering into a different kind of practice, new kind of education or training experience where you are opening up to this ability to share what you create more broadly throughout the world. The Judgment card in the 10th house is clarified by the Temperance card in the 11th house and the 10 wands in the 12th house. You now have Temperance twice, and it's not lost that the area that's being emphasized is not only in your personal growth, your foundation, your development, your history, but this is extending to the way that you're organizing your humanitarian efforts throughout the world. You're looking at relatedness, healing traditions perhaps from your cultural heritage, your family of origin, your ancestral history or lineage, through a closer examination and exploration of ways to share that with more people. You're actually ultimately releasing this set of responsibilities and obligations that have kept you in this place of a certain kind of conformity. This has been this allegiance to the way things have always been, in a way that you perhaps, Aries, have believed that you clearly understood and were rebelling against or moving away from without really challenging this convention. You now are challenging this convention by releasing it, by developing a new set of beliefs and commitment to the way that you can commit to your gifts, sharing your gifts with the world, not prioritizing the needs of others, the support of others, but understanding that this is why you're here now, in order to lift up your talents, your gifts, and to distribute those broadly. And in doing so, this release of a former allegiance to old standards or conventions is really deeply releasing you physically. You may be experiencing this through your health, a desire for more sleep, which would fit in well with this greater space in your life to allow your allies to support you, often coming through your unconscious. So there's a greater need for sleep. And part of that is this tremendous surrender and transition you're going through. I'm hoping that this is supporting you. I'm going to pull an oracle card, a crystal oracle, and remind you that you may like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and that I will be developing an extended reading from this reading. The Iolite, shift your money mindset. I like that. And also, I'm going to pull something from the Soul's Journey, and the extended reading will be linked in the description box below. And I pulled growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. I hope to see you again. Until next time, Aries, Namaste.